Hello, and welcome to episode 134 of the Childless Not by Choice podcast. My name is Civilla Morgan. My mission is to recognize and speak to the childless not by choice women and men around the world, reminding you that you can live a joyful, relevant, fulfilled, childless not by choice life. And whether you have children or not, thank you for tuning in. Well, what is today's show about? It is about a dame. But first, I'd like to thank my Patreon contributors. My Patreon contributors make financial contributions on a monthly basis, and those financial contributions go right back into the platform to pay the podcast producer, the web manager, my hosting fees, and so every penny counts and every penny is put to good use. Thank you so very much to my Patreon contributors. And if you are not yet a patron, visit patreon.com/childless not by choice to set up your monthly contribution. No matter your giving level, I have a gift for you. And of course, if you prefer to give via PayPal, you can find me at PayPal at booksbycivillamorgan@gmail.com. That's booksbycivillamorgan@gmail.com. Thank you so much, Jordan Morgan, the Knights, Susie, Tiffany, and I have a spot right below those names for you. And by the way, if you are a patron, there is a fresh new episode on the Patreon site. Be sure to check it out and know that I will be adding more videos and more content to Patreon in the new year, as I promised to do a little bit more for my patrons. Thank you again so much. Well, welcome to December, y'all. It's a tough month for us as childless people, but, never fear. Have I got a story for you? First, though, I want to thank you so much for your support this year. Once again, thanks for listening to episodes. Thanks for reaching out. Thank you for letting me know how the episodes in the podcast are helping you. I hear from a lot of people on Instagram, and which is really cool. I feel like when I first started podcasting, I heard a lot from people on Messenger, on Facebook and on Messenger, and I still have the Facebook group, of course, but now it seems like I'm hearing more from Instagram. So if you are on Instagram, be sure to follow me at Joy and Relevance, at Joy and Relevance on Instagram. Or if you like Pinterest, just follow me, Civilla Morgan. And yes, I'm still on Facebook. I'm not leaving Facebook, but I've said before, we need to have a place to meet off of Facebook. You guys remember about a month or so ago, the Facebook went down for several hours. And if you only had a Facebook group, there was no way to communicate with people that you speak to. So if I didn't have my email list, because remember, I shut down my community group on the website, and so I can only communicate via Instagram, which is also owned by Facebook. Twitter, I'm on Twitter at Civilla1, by the way. If you're on Twitter, follow me at Civilla1. Or by the mailing list. So hopefully you are on the mailing list. I send out a newsletter every so often. I used to send out the newsletter like clockwork up until about pandemic time, I think. And I just kind of do it now when the time is right, when I feel like I need to say something. I'll send out a newsletter, and I need to really get back into having a regular newsletter. And I don't know, let's blame it on the pandemic. We blame everything on the pandemic right now, right? So at any rate, there is a newsletter. I have a mailing list. You can sign up. It's a free mailing list, free newsletter. You can sign up on the website. Just go to the homepage of childlessnotbychoice.net and just sign up, and you will get newsletters whenever I send them out. We've got to have other ways to be in touch if and when Facebook goes down again. I'm not wishing them ill will, but the fact is anything made by man is fallible, and so it could happen again. If you want to be in touch with me, sign up for the free newsletter. And when I figure out what to do community-wise, I will let you know, because I'm still trying to figure out what to do community-wise, meaning having a community outside of the Childless Not by Choice with Civilla Morgan Facebook group and the supporters Facebook group. Working on that, thinking about it, trying to figure things out. So, by the way, January is already recorded. Yes, this is the December episode, but I am so excited to tell you that January is already recorded. I cannot wait for you to hear my conversation with Sarah Roberts. It is just the perfect way to start a new year, and I hope you tune in. Be sure to tune in. And of course, tune in to all of the episodes all year. Don't be a stranger. Your feedback really is a source of encouragement for me. It makes me know that I'm on the right track and that I'm helping. And that's who I am. I'm a helper. And so I like to know that people are doing well or at least doing better. Well, if you didn't know, I am a history buff. I mean, I love anything having to do with history. World history, the history of humanity, medieval history, art history. I love history. In fact, one of my favorite podcasts is all about women throughout history. So imagine my shock and surprise when I heard about this amazing woman. You see, the woman I'm talking about today was childless and husbandless, like many of us. And that's what caught my eye. She had been mentioned on social media on the anniversary of her death. I believe it was a Google Doodle. I like to read the stories behind the Google Doodles because, well, I love history and historical facts. But when they said she never married or had children, well, me too. I had to know more. And the timing of it all was quite interesting, too. I had been reading lots of posts on Instagram about the treatment by society of those of us who never married and never had children. The posts were in earnest the last couple of months as of this recording. I mean, it's a thing. I'm living it. I've been living it. I've never been married. But I had not heard much talk about it until the last few months, again, as of this recording. And the pain in the posts, it was just palpable. So anyway, after a little digging, I found one book on Amazon about this woman, which I promptly ordered. I had to wait a little bit for the book, which made me a little nervous, but it finally came. It is an interesting read. There's information about this woman and about the book in the show notes, so be sure to check out the show notes. I've put some additional links in there about this lady as well. So here's the thing. Childless, husbandless, and a dame. Mary Eugenia Charles, her father, started his life as a mason and then a farmer. He was snubbed by the elite, but that did not get in the way of his goals. He quietly went about the business of amassing wealth while the community looked down on him until he surpassed them in wealth. Her father turned banker for the everyday person. His plan was to send his 4 children to the best schools, and 2 of them became doctors. One became a nun against her parents' wishes, and Eugenia, our subject for today, went to law school. Then she got into politics. Oh boy. Imagine politics for a woman in the 50s and 60s. You think it's a man's world now, right? She had to create a tough exterior to deal with men who definitely did not want her in their presence. They felt she was a deviant because she never married and never had children. They felt she belonged in a lower class because her father had to work his way up the class ladder. But she has been listed, and she is listed in the Guida Merle Jackson Law Firm's list of women rulers throughout the ages. Women rulers throughout the ages. On that list are women such as Cleopatra, Mary, Queen of Scots, and Isabella, Queen of Spain, just to name a few. I mean, that's a serious list. But hey, she gave as good as she got. Although it had to be tough to hear that she was sterile and that she wore cheap underwear. Seriously? Seriously? Cheap underwear? That's what we're saying? Anyway, ignored when she fainted in the midst of these sharks, but she survived. She was indeed so successful at turning her country around, she ruled for 15 years, even surviving 2 attempted coups. Some of you may remember the invasion. I know you thought this was back a couple hundred years ago. No. Do you remember the invasion of Grenada back in the 1980s? She was an integral part of that. She brought battling factions in her country, Dominica, not to be confused with the Dominican Republic, 2 very different places. She brought these factions together and put strong people in her cabinet, which tells me she had a healthy level of confidence, self-confidence. Something, by the way, I personally like in people I surround myself with. I want you to have confidence in yourself and not anyway, I'm not going there. You guys know I'm so good for soapbox moments and diversions. I will not be diverted. I will just say again, I like to surround myself with strong people because I feel that strong people add. They add, they do not subtract. It's especially if they're self-confident themselves and they don't feel threatened. I don't like to be around people who feel threatened. That's just me. Anyway, that's an aside. So Eugenia is intriguing, right? I mean, aside from the obvious that she was childless and husbandless, it is said that she never married because she never met anyone she wanted to marry. I mean, these aren't the days of arranged marriage, so maybe if they were, she might have been married. She made things happen despite the treatment she received, and despite not adhering, quote unquote, to society's norms. I mean, some people marry so that they are not lonely. Some people opt not to marry if they can't marry for love. And by the way, this die-hard romantic was shocked when I found out in my younger years that people married for all types of reasons and that love was just one of the reasons. The shock of it all. I also came to the realization that for me, I had no intention of marrying for anything less than love because when the going gets tough, I have to know I love this person. I mean, what's the whole point? That's just me. So, how are you making stuff happen despite being childless or childless and husbandless? How do you deal with the people who watch you faint and ignore you? Or the people who accuse you of wearing cheap underwear? What about the people who spread assumptions and rumors about you? How do you deal? Well, let me remind you of some things, okay? Those of us who are husbandless and childless are a family unit unto ourselves. I've said it before. A family is not only parents and kids or husband and wife, no kids. It can be you, just you. Human, worthy, single, childless, beautiful you. Remember that this holiday season. Remember, you deserve a place at the adult table just as much as the couple or the parents. Remember, your sleeping arrangements should not be an afterthought. Now look, I realize you don't want to create drama at the family gatherings. I don't want you to either. But I bet that's why some families believe they can treat the single, childless family member as an afterthought. They don't believe you'll make a scene. And really, you don't have to. If there is a problem, kindly pull the host aside and have a civil conversation. And if you feel the conversation went nowhere, then feel free to adult and make alternate plans at least some years. You know, if you want to show up every once in a while for a family gathering, that's great. Know what to expect and, so you don't get your feelings hurt every time you show up. But some years, do something different. Just do something different. It's your life. Look, we all want to see our family members. We all want to belong, but we have to decide if we want to belong so much we are willing to accept the bad treatment gathering after gathering after gathering. Making alternate plans sometimes, it just shows that you love and respect yourself. Please love and respect yourself. Until you do, no one else will. We are living in unbelievably difficult times. I mean, family gatherings were difficult pre-pandemic. Now everything has changed. Life as we knew it is no longer, no matter what we try to do to get back to a new normal. And that's just how it is. That's life. Normal is going to be different. And I believe the reason some of us are having a difficult time acclimating is because we are not moving ahead but looking backward. Yeah, there was good back there, but there was also bad back there. There was dysfunction, there was petty behavior at family gatherings, and yes, there are good memories as well, I know. But ahead are good memories too, and good times, especially when you create those moments and exercise those kind but firm boundaries. So I want you to trust your decisions, trust your heart, trust yourself, and I want you to have a lovely holiday season, no matter how it looks. Thanks for tuning in. Happy December, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays. I love you guys. Be safe. Do the right thing. Be kind, be nice, all the good stuff. And just hang in there as we hopefully come to the end of this pandemic. Whatever our 2022 looks like, let's make the best of it. And again, check out the show notes for more information on Mary Eugenia Charles. Basically, she was a Dominican. It's so close. Dominican is Dominican Republic, and Dominican is the island of Dominica in the Caribbean. So she was a politician. She was Prime Minister of Dominica from July 1980 until June 1995. She was the first woman lawyer in Dominica. She was Dominica's first and to date only female prime minister. Born May 15, 1919, died September 6, 2005. So check out the show notes. Check out the book. The book title is here. And again, a couple of great articles, links to articles that I found on her. I just found her so intriguing, you guys. And I hope you felt the same way. Also in the show notes is the survey link if you haven't taken the survey yet. And of course, my contact information. Have a great rest of 2021, and I will see you in 2022. Bye.